Before we start the tour, I would like to give you some brief introduction of this place. This is called Lama Temple. Lama Temple is the English name. In Chinese name is Yonghe Gong. Lamaism is a way to call Tibetan Buddhism. You know, Buddhism was introduced from India to China in the 1st century AD in the Han Dynasty. And then it was introduced to Tibet from China in about 7th century AD during the Tang Dynasty. And then it was combined with some local Tibetan religion called the Bon, B-O-N. Maybe you have never heard about it, but that was an indigenous religion to Tibet. And then it was later combined with some schools of Hinduism several centuries later. So now Tibetan Buddhism is also called the Lamaism, is a combination of Buddhism, Hinduism, and local Tibetan religion. So the Chinese name of it is Yonghe Gong, 3 words. Here, Gong means palace, because it used to be a palace of the Qing Dynasty Emperor Yongzheng. Before he was the emperor, he lived here. This was his mansion when he was a prince. The Prince Yong, Yong was his title given by his father. After he became the emperor, he changed this place into a palace. Every year, he would go to the temple of Earth to worship the god of Earth on the day of summer solstice. Summer solstice is one of the 24 Chinese solar terms. Yeah. Temple of Earth is very close to this place. After this emperor visited the Temple of Earth, he would come here for a lunch. So Emperor Yongzheng, he reigned 13 years. And after he died, he was succeeded by his son, Emperor Qianlong. Emperor Qianlong changed this place into a Tibetan Buddhist temple on the 9th year of his reign. Why he wanted to change this place from a palace into a Buddhist temple? There are a few reasons. So first, Emperor Qianlong was a believer of Tibetan Buddhism. When he was a young kid, his father invited a young living Buddha from Tibet. He was about the same age with Emperor Qianlong, so they were very close friends. So they grew up from a very young age. Emperor Qianlong had a lot of influence of Tibetan Buddhism. Finally, he became an adherent of Tibetan Buddhism. And another reason is that after he became the emperor, a series of events happened in Tibet. It made the Emperor Qianlong realize that it's time to reinforce the Qing Dynasty China's sovereignty over Tibet. So he did a series of the events to reinforce the administration over Tibet, including changing this place into a Buddhist temple. He thinks this is the best way to keep peace in Tibet. That is to show his respect to their religion. Yep. So that's why this place will change into Lama Temple.
All right.
And this word Lama in Tibet literally means to know further beyond. That means the wisdom of this religion is the highest. All the visitors will be welcomed by this big-bellied Buddha.
Okay.
Actually, he's not a Buddha yet. According to the Buddhism, he is going to become a real Buddha many, many years later. On the way to become a real Buddha, you have to reach 3 levels, one by one. The first one is called Arhat. This is Sanskrit, ancient Indian. And the second level is called Bodhisattva. The final level is Buddha. The meaning of the word Buddha is a fully awakened person. This is a Chinese localization. This image is not found in India. It appeared about the 9th century AD. There was a temple in South China, a Ningbo Yuelin temple. It says that there is a monk look like that. He has a big belly and he always carry a big bag asking for donations from the people, and people put different things into his bag, but his bag is always empty. So people were curious why the bag is always empty, and the people asked him, but he never answered, just smiled. Before he died in this temple, he left a last word. It was written into a poem. It says that he is the incarnation, the avatar of the future Buddha. Now he comes to this world, but nobody knows him. So this rumor has spread all over the country. It says that this big belly monk is the incarnation of the future Buddha.
我请问一下，文藏文中文还有一个是
These names are written in 4 different languages, and they are from right to left. Okay, from right to left, Manchurians, Chinese, Tibetan, and Mongolian.
为什么会有
since 因为这个喇嘛教实际上它不光是属于藏族，蒙古族也信奉，它是蒙藏两族共同信仰的一个宗教啊。而且清朝的皇帝呢又是满人所以呢为了体现满汉蒙藏这4个族的团结这个雍和宫里边的所有的牌匾都是以这4种文字写成的啊。On the 2 sides of this temple, you see the 4 big statues.
Yes.
They're known as 4 heavenly kings. According to Buddhism, the world that we're living is on a sea. There's a vast sea. There are 4 continents. We live on one of these 4 continents. And each of this continent is protected by a heavenly king. And this heavenly king is holding a different magic weapons. One is an umbrella, one is a sword, one is a snake, a little dragon, one is musical instrument called pipa. This comes from a very old Chinese legend. And this statue is a little warrior. It's a protector of Buddhism. It says that the one Buddha, Shakyamuni, nirvana. The Buddha will not die, but they use this term nirvana. That means he become a real spirit and he won't die anymore. So after he nirvana, the 500 of his disciples gathered. That was the first gathering of the Buddhism. These disciples, they cremated the body of Shakyamuni. His body become into relics, relics of the bones and the teeth and the stones in your body. And then evil stole one of the relics. And this warrior was one of the protector of Buddha. He captured the evil and took this relic back. So he was made the most important protector of Buddha. And his statue is always put behind the wall of the first hall. This is a very valuable artifact in the Lama temple. In my opinion, this is the most valuable artifact. This is an obelisk, stone obelisk. It has 4 sides. On each side there is an article. Actually, it is one article, but written in 4 different languages, the Chinese, Mongolians, Tibetan, and Manchurians. What is written in this article? As I mentioned, the Emperor Qianlong, the builder of this temple, he was an adherent of Tibetan Buddhism. In 1788, the Qing dynasty China had a war with Nepal. There is a nationality called the Korkas. These Korkas, they are very good soldiers. They were renowned for kind of a curled knife. So these soldiers were originally recruited by British East Indian Company. And they were also recruited by many other countries in the war. Now in Asia, there are some countries like Singapore, they're still using Korka soldiers. They were also found in the Second World War. Right. Those Korkas, they are very good soldiers. So they invaded Tibet in 1788. And Emperor Qianlong, he commissioned a military expedition to expel them from Tibet. And this war lasted 4 years. Finally, Qianlong has driven them out. And the war ended up with Korkas signing a treaty with Qing dynasty China, reaffirming the Tibet status under the protection of Qing government.
All right.
So the Emperor Qianlong, he wrote this article. He expressed his attitude about Tibetan Buddhism. That's why, in my opinion, this is the most valuable artifact because it is an evidence that China exercised the sovereignty over Tibet in the Qing dynasty.
Right. Which side is in Chinese? 这也是 Chinese。这面不是。
它这个字特别小，我还真看不清楚。
只有一点点地方看得见，正面也不是。
This is the main hall. In this hall, there are 3 Buddha statues. These are The Buddha is at the three different ages. They represent the present, past, and the future. The one in the middle is the present Buddha. This Buddha's name is Shakyamuni. Shakyamuni was born 2,500 years ago in a place at present day, the border of India and Nepal. He lived about 80 years. He was a founder of Buddhism. Right. And he had many disciples. The past Buddha and the future Buddha, the time period between them is unbelievably long. According to the Buddhism, I give you some senses of how long this period is. According to the Buddhism, it says that the world that we live has a cycle of creation and destruction. And each of this cycle is divided into 4 stages. Each stage is divided into 20 kalpas. That's the word, kalpa. How long is a kalpa? It says that the lifespan of human being at the beginning of a kalpa is 84,000 years. That means the human being can live to 84,000 years without any natural disasters. And then your lifespan will decrease by 1 year every 100 years. It decreases to only 10 years, and then the lifespan of human being will increase 1 year every 100 years until it increases to 84,000 years again. So this lifespan is 1 kalpa. So if you use a mathematician, how long is it?
Yeah, like
It's 16.8 million years.
Yeah, I was like at 50 million, but
It's about 16 million years. So 20 of them is one stage of creation and destruction of our world. 1.5 kalpa later, about 20 million years later, this future Buddha will come to the world and preach his Dharma.
yeah. Okay.
You see the people are praying to the statue in this hall, but actually the statue in this hall is not a Buddha. He's just a founder of the Yellow School of Tibetan Buddhism.
Yeah.
So that's an example. Most of the people, they have no interest in knowing the knowledge of Buddhism.
Okay.
They're only interested in buying souvenirs and praying to the Buddha for promotion, for a good marriage, or for
everything which
for
gives you
more children.
Yeah.
But this worship is totally against the basic teaching of Buddhism, because the basic teaching of Buddhism is called the Four Noble Truths. These Four Noble Truths are, the truth of suffering, the truth of the origin of suffering, the truth of cessation of suffering, the truth of the way to lead to the cessation of suffering. But anyway, it's talking about suffering.
Yeah.
It says that people are all suffering in this world. The reason is because you have too many desires. So the way to stop suffering is to give up all your desire. But everybody come here, they worship to the Buddha for more desires.
Yeah. Okay.
So if the Buddha can really hear what people are talking to him, he would be thinking this is very sad.
Yeah.
One time I came here, saw those monks doing this.
Debating.
Debating. Yeah, that's right.
That's
debating
he's talking about
Bible,
a very special practices in Tibetan Buddhism. You can see the monks are dressing in a red robe. They're debating about the teaching in Buddhist books. For example, I, in a standing position, I will raise a question to you, and you sit on the ground. I will do like this when I raise this question, and then you're supposed to answer.
Yeah.
And if I don't agree, that I will talk back to you.
They still do that
In
sometimes?
some of the, it's very rare here in this temple. But if you go to Tibet, if you go to Lhasa, the capital of Tibet, you can see hundreds of monks are doing this very loud in the courtyard of a Buddhist temple.
Can we see that sometimes here?
I have never seen it here in the Lama
saw one
temple. This is the founder of Tibetan Buddhism yellow schools.
Okay.
In the history of Tibetan Buddhism, there were several schools, several different schools. These schools are recognized by the color of this monk's head and the color of their robe. So the four biggest schools are yellow school, red school, white school, and flower school. This is a yellow school. He's a founder of the yellow school. See? He had a yellow hat. Yellow school is also called the Gelu school. This founder of yellow school, his name is Zongkaba. Zongkaba, he made a lot of reform on the disciplines of the yellow school. That is the reason why several centuries later, the yellow school gained the favor of Emperor Qianlong. So Emperor Qianlong helped the yellow school to develop it into the biggest school in Tibetan Buddhism. This last hall has the future Buddha.
Okay.
We have already seen the image of the future Buddha in the first hall, but the image is totally different. He is now still a Bodhisattva. He lives in the fourth layer of the heaven. According to Buddhism, there are many layers of heaven. So we are living under the first layer of the heaven, and beyond this heaven, there are many other layers. And this Buddha, now he's a Bodhisattva. He lives in the fourth layer of the heaven. One day there equals to 500 years of our time.
All right.
This is the biggest wooden Buddha statue
In the world.
in the world. It is carved out of one tree. One tree. You may see some other wooden Buddha statue in the rest of the world that is bigger than this one, but they are put together. But this one is made of one tree.
Okay.
This tree was shipped from Nepal to China as a gift to the Chinese Emperor Qianlong. They used several years to ship it to here. And then Qianlong carved it into the future Buddha. It's 18 meters above the ground and 8 meters under the ground. So totally 26 meters sandalwood.
Okay. Wow.
这个就是弥勒佛。咱们看那个大肚子那个弥勒佛是他的一个化身，他真正的样子呢是在未来世界他是这样的，就是非常的高大宏伟。乾隆皇帝建这个雍和宫的时候呢，最后的这一块呢没有什么建筑的，这块特别的空。咱们中国的这个有一个迷信嘛，叫宁住庙左不住庙右，宁住庙前不住庙后。在这个雍和宫的那边啊，还有一个庙，那个庙呢是唐朝时候建的一个庙，所以呢乾隆皇帝非常迷信，他为了压住那个庙，唐朝的那个庙，必须要在这儿建一个更高的庙。然后这七世达赖喇嘛呢，为了感谢乾隆皇帝，他听到这个消息了，就各处寻找礼物。最后呢，正好他听人说在尼泊尔那儿找到了这么一块巨型的白檀木，他就重金把这块木头给买下来了，然后花了几年的时间运到北京，运到雍和宫。然后乾隆皇帝把这块木头给放在这儿，先雕成佛，然后再盖这个大殿。
真是很有，
对，
这个真是太有心了。
That is called a golden urn. This one. Golden urn. This is used for choosing the reincarnation of the living Buddha.
All right.
You see, there are slips of paper. As I mentioned, in 1792, the Korkas invaded Tibet, and the Emperor Qianlong he commissioned a military expedition to expel them. After they were expelled, the Emperor Qianlong made some statute reinforcing the administration over Tibet. And the most important part of this statute is that he changed the method of choosing reincarnation of the living Buddha. Because before that, they in Tibet they have a series of method of choosing the reincarnation of the living Buddha. But Emperor Qianlong think that is just a disguise of a hereditary system. Because no matter how you choose, this reincarnation is also a nepotism.
Right.
The emperor wanted to change this method. He made this a gold urn, and he let the people at Tibet to write the name of several candidates of the reincarnation of living Buddha and put them in this golden urn, and then they draw lottery.
Okay.
So this is called a golden urn lottery system. That's Emperor Qianlong.
Yeah.
He's a very short guy,
He is.
very short and thin,
Yeah.
and
But he has the same.
has a very
beard
white,
length.
he has very white skin. He has a
the
very
same
white skin.
beard skin. Like.
Same beard. Right. Let's take a picture. You'll stand here in front of the. 哎，你给他照个相。他说他的小胡子跟那乾隆特别像。还真有点像啊，这小胡子。With your hands on the beard.
Yeah.
And this.